Day Gujarat.
Hello, good evening to all and welcome to the first session of this fourth day interactive TV show on mathematical concept. Myself Chanchal Das, and today I will be presenting the introductory thoughts about my mathematics teaching, and what actually we are trying to do is that we are trying to do some new way of teaching mathematics. So, let us see the slides here. Can you change to the slides? Yeah. So, this is the my topic, interactive TV show on mathematical concepts. So, we are working on this, and our main objective is to provide high quality mathematics education to students spread across a vast geographical area in a short span of time. So, with this objective we have started this project, Ganit Sati project. What is the objective of this? It is a supplemental support to the students for learning mathematical concept. We are not helping students to problem solving, we are helping a student to concept understanding of mathematics. So, how it will work? This one way you can say that this is a two-way teaching of mathematics. So, what is the two-way? First way is that in school all the mathematics they are being taught, that is I should say it is a macro level mathematics, micro level mathematics. Micro level means they teach every aspect of mathematics step by step, some portion in class 1, some portion in class 2, class 3, like that. So, in that way it is a macro level teaching, and what we are doing, we are trying to teach in a macro level. Macro level means holistic level, means what for we do mathematics and why we require a new way of supplemental support in mathematics learning is. So, these are the two way of teaching mathematics. The benefit what I feel that when I at least during my time there was one positive aspect is that now we are technologically advanced stage, and everybody is connected to each other, what was not available during our time. And in school what happens that students learn every aspect of mathematics step by step, one by one, some portion in class 1, some portion in class 2, some portion in class 3, like that they go on learning, but they never get the opportunity to look back in an integrated way that what they have learned. Means I have learned in class 1, I have learned in class 2, I have learned in class 3, I have learned in class 2, suppose I reached in 6. So, what I actually we have learned. So, if you ask any student that what mathematics you know, no student will clearly tell that what they have learned and what for they have learned. So, there comes our role. We holistically also help them to understand that what they are learning, why they are learning. So, this holistic approach what will happen, it will be based on daily life problem, and from based on that they can correlate why they are learning this mathematics and for what purpose. So, this is the holistic, and these two methods are supplemental to each other. It is not that school math not required, or it is not that our system is not required. Both is supplement each other, each aspect having its own merits and demerits, but when combinedly work that will bring wonder. So, I believe on that. And in that what I will, this is 1 year pilot project. Government of Gujarat has given us opportunity to pilot test of this concept, and I feel those will be working with us in this 1 year time period, I dream that what is being taught from class 1 to 12, all the aspect we can cover in this 1 year. So, those are in class 9, they will learn all the subject from 1 to 12 in class 9 itself. Those are in 10, they will learn all the concept required for in mathematics from 1 to 12 in 10 itself. So, they will get maximum time for their preparation, and I think this will change the attitude of the students. Nobody will stand in face math phobia sort of thing. Many students nowadays, they leave mathematics thinking that it is very difficult subject, but mathematics is a very interesting and popular subject and beautiful subject. Once you understand the beauty of this mathematics, then you will never leave this subject. And I want that to promote and popularize this mathematics, and my objective is that in future I dream that all the students, their first choice will be mathematics. And with that I am starting my presentation. This is something written about me. I am not going to elaborate much on this. You can see leisurely, sometime these videos are available. These videos will be available in free Dish TV in Vande Gujarat channel 15, then Dish TV Vande Gujarat channel 15, Jio TV app. Those are having Jio TV app, they can see their Vande Gujarat channel 15. My YouTube channel, Chanchal Das YouTube channel, if you see, there are a lot of videos like this. Facebook also it is being broadcasted, and Zoom. Zoom is a interactive link we have shared with the students, schools, and anyone wish to join our project, they can also join with us. And this Zoom link can be a interactive mode where you can directly contact with us, and you can share your views, you can criticize if we have something doing wrongly, and a lot of things are there. So, these are the things where you can connect with me, you can see the video. So, it is not a tuition center sort of thing that you require to come every day 5 to 7 to see my programs, not required. You can leisurely, whenever you free, you can open these channels and you can see these recordings also. So, this is the problem. What is the problem? Every students when they join school, no, they feel like a hero, and in 1, class 2, class 3, they start reading a different subject, different topics, and certain point of time when this mathematical concept starts, many of the students face problems. So, this is I have shown in this grammatically. So, that hero initially they gets shattered, many students get demotivated, demoralized, even many students become depression also. So, this is the problem. So, in nutshell, if we say that what is the problem in mathematics teaching, it can say that the pain point is the difficulty in understanding of advanced mathematical and scientific concept. It is a global problem. Millions of students face this problem every year, and we are working on this. And we feel that it is a social issue. When after school days, we settle in our professional career, our college days, then we forget that we faced a lot of problem during our early childhood, but this is a real problem that face everyone. So, we are trying to solve this social issue. to solve this problem and to provide high quality science and mathematics education, we established the Scientific Research Labs Private Limited in 7 June 2012 and working on this. And actually what we are going to do, how we can impart this high quality mathematics education. We have seen that at present, if you think that what is mathematics, those for lot of symbols, lot of equations and lot of formulas appear in mind, and we think it appears that mathematics is an endless subject and it is very difficult to learn. This is one of the notions that we face problem, and what we are trying to do, if we see these symbols, if we see these equation formulas, you will find that all these equation formulas, they are related with some geometrical shapes or objects. And if you understand, if you can correlate these formulas, equations to geometry, then that infinite subject will appear very limited one. What is that limited one? It will become to a point, to a line, to a surface, to a solid and something like that, but it will be limited to very finite numbers. And if you learn these properties of those objects, means points, lines, surface, their characteristics, their properties, then all the equation formulas related to any mathematical problem you can solve. So, this is the one of the objective we are trying to change the perception of mathematics at present, what we are feeling with numbers, formulas and equations with geometrical shapes. So, how mathematics can be learned very effectively? This is also one thing we have seen, that mathematics can be learned in groups. If you can form groups, you can learn lot of mathematics. Here we at present system, I have seen that there are very few students, they are serious, they are devoted and they can learn mathematics on their own. But if you learn mathematics in groups with your friends, with your parents, that will be the best learning. So, and my suggestion is that those student whom we talk about, brilliant student, he perform very good in mathematics, you can see that maximum of those students get support from their parents, either their parents are very educated couple or not, and constantly they help their points where the student face problem, and those students perform very nicely in exams and in their life. But many students, their parents are not that much literate and they cannot support the student much, and student when some face problem in solving any mathematical problem, they do not have any means to express that, get support and resources to do that. So, nowadays they have one opportunity, that technology is there, Google is there and Wikipedia is there and many other softwares, and everything is available at their disposal. So, they can use that, and if still you face problem, then we are there with you, that is there, you can contact with us. So, do not try to learn mathematics individually. You make partnership, you make groups, you can make your parents to be your partner in learning mathematics, then all combinedly can learn, they will also enjoy the beauty of mathematics, they can also help. So, these are my suggestion and observation. And next, what we are trying to do, our objective is not to teach everything in mathematics. Our objective is to take the students to the path of self discovery and self learning. These actually two words are being used in educational sector, that students should have the self discovery, self learning, but it is very difficult for a student for getting self discovery, but self learning, because they do not have any extra resources to go for self discovery or self learning. So, that tools we provide now. With that tools they can go for self discovery, self learning. So, what is that self learning and self discovery? I can cite one example here. You can see this presentation where there is a wheel, and when we teach about wheel, or whenever we think about wheel, then it appears some circle. So, wheels is always circle, but can the wheel be a square? Some students, if he face this problem, that can the wheels be square. So, the teacher will tell do not ask this absurd question. Apparently, it appears absurd that because from the childhood we are seeing that wheels should be always circular. But if you think that in future generation also there are many different shape of wheels, which can be square, square and triangle, and then you have to modify your roads. So, but it is possible, it is there, and whenever we think about the movement, we think about car, cycle, motorcycle, and all movement means is circular wheel. But we forget that we also a one type of vehicle, and we drag ourselves with two legs. It is not circular, it is two long pipe sort of thing. So, it is possible, and that is the beauty when you can do the modeling and learn. So, you can have your own design of wheels, it need not be always circular, it can be a single pipe like thing also, and it can be square, it can be rectangular. So, like that this is the actual meaning of self discovery and self learning. We provide these tools, you can test it. And then my thought, the mathematical approaches. At present when we think of the approaches to be followed in mathematical concept, there are learning mathematics, these four left side points, these 4 points come in our mind. One is create awareness, second is problem solving, third is engagement, and fourth is understanding. So, understanding is we do not give much stress. We are more interested in problem solving, because in exam we have to solve the problems for getting high marks. So, our suggestion is that parents and teachers, their focus should be on creating awareness, and then second is the engagement. Second is engagement. If you try to engage the students, if students come forward for learning mathematics on their own, then they can find the ways and resources required for learning mathematics and understanding. So, so this is the 4 approaches, and then I will talk something about the syllabus of class 1, what I feel that class 1 itself what we are start in teaching, it is very difficult subjects, and many of the topics we are being taught in class 1, even in PhD level, even post graduation level or graduation level, we face problem in learning, and one of them is I should say pattern. and it is pattern is related to our life in every problem, everywhere pattern is there, and the one of the main objective of our problem solving is to identifying the patterns, and that is being taught from class 1 onwards. Then data handling, this is almost to some extent starting of statistics, and others are okay, these are required many things. And then there is a shape kit. So, you can say these numbers and geometry, these are the main thing. Third comes measurement, how to measure, and then time, and these are so critical, you will find if we casually learn these ideas, then you will face problem in later time. So, what is that? Here I should say about something about this NCERT mathematics books. They are very nicely written books and very well thought of prepared books, what I felt when I consult these books. And you can see this class 1, class 2, class 3, and for the same sex class 5 and 4, all the books they are named is math magic, not mathematics. So, in these 5 years it is the objective of create awareness about our surroundings, our life in earth and our home, school, everywhere, and not to exactly teach mathematics. And 6 onward real mathematics teaching starts, and the name of the books you can find out this book name. These are the cover page of these books, and class 6 the first name is mathematics. So, same thing you can find in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, these are the book cover page, and 12 is one very large book, you can say, I think 400, 500 pages a book in 2 parts, and all these ends our syllabus. So, these are the real mathematics book where we are being taught mathematical concept, and first 1 to 5 that is awareness about our world. So, very distinctly it is mentioned, but what is the problem we face is that we try to teach our child to learn mathematics from class 1 itself. I think there is a issues what the leaders, society leaders, school leaders and teachers can play a role, because every parent they want their child should perform best, and they want to force them to learn mathematics, not creating awareness. So, these are the content page of class 1, and just I am trying how we start learning mathematics, and from that we are trying to extract some clue where we should start for learning mathematics and why. So, if I go in first chapter of class 1, this chapter title is shapes and space, and that covers a story of a Sheikh Arab and his camel. And after reading this, means those are not very deeply related with education or discuss about those things. They face a problem in learning what is the mathematics is being taught here. Then in the same chapter it goes, these are the things bigger and smaller, this makes sense actually to some extent, and biggest and smallest and like that, and we go on learning this. A innocent child what he will learn, what he will answer. When we ask some clever question, they fail to realize that what is being what is the question, because they learn this for learning sake only. They see this some tall figure, big object, small circle or tire or big tire like that. So, but they do not understand what is the mathematics is being taught here. Similarly, this there are shapes around us. So, they are being introduced. The shapes around us means 2D shape, 3D shape, everything comes in class 1. And then right side another story of this very nice story. Grandson rolled the dholok. So, these are the stories. So, what is the mathematics in that? So, if you can answer this, what is the mathematics in that, then you will not face any problem in learning mathematics in later days. And then class 1 chapter 10 this is also a pattern. So, pattern we just play with this, and I also have done this, but I do not remember what was there in school days, how we have learned it, I do not know, but I do not remember also. But when I relook at my age of 55, 56, that what is being taught in class 1, I got surprised all these things, and casually I was thinking that these are the okay, this is the pattern, what 1, 3, 5, 7, then intuitively we put 9 and 11 and then 13, and matter ends there. I thought I with then get in the thought that we have learned this. We never ask ourselves or the teacher that why we learn this, why that, and the problem starts there also. If we do not know that what for we are learning this, then again we face problem in later days. So, what are the awareness? Awareness I am not going into greater details, but what I should say, everywhere there is mathematics, nothing is happening around us in this world without mathematics. So, if I think of awareness, then you will see everywhere mathematics is working, whether it is in our kitchen, whether it is our maintaining our household expenditure, whether we are driving vehicle or transacting in marketplace, everywhere mathematics is there. And we think that in our human kingdom mathematics are only working, but but if you go to the animal kingdom, everywhere mathematics is playing its own role. I am not going to explain this in future, sometime if I get time, elaborate time after finishing my actual message, then I will explain all this again. But this is the for giving a feel of that everywhere is mathematics. These are mathematics. You can see that honeybee, they create the comb as hexagonal, and there is a reason for it. It is not that and so accurately they create without any measurement and everything. Similarly, these birds, they have some stories, many stories. They have some birds having 2-story, 3-story building. Some birds fly on triangular mode, all these having some mathematical reasoning and all this. And similarly, these plants, we think that plants are stationary objects like thing, but they do lot of mathematics. And nature, this is the real mathematics involved in this. And one point I should mention here, that we learn so many mathematics, and all the mathematics we learn are not the mathematics of nature. Mathematics of nature is related to this forming of coastlines, forming of nature, forming of this fire, clouds. These are the nature subject, and we do not study how these are formed and what are the mathematics related to that. There is a mention in these are nowadays we should say around 70 onwards there is a momentum on these thoughts. They tell that it is a fractal geometry or which is the nature's geometry, and there is a very new subject on that which one deals with the mathematics of nature. So, this very recent, but earlier all the mathematics from Euclidean era or before that whatever we are being taught, these are all not the mathematics of nature. So, here the question comes, evolution of mathematics, why we should start everything learning how mathematics is evolved and what for mathematics is required and what is our first requirement of mathematics. So, these are the pertinent question, and the answer if you get, if anybody can answer this from this picture, what is being taught in this. So, then his learning of mathematics will be very easy. So, and the root is or you can say the shield is shown here in this chapter. So, first you can say this class 1 book, they are creating awareness about the space or shapes. So, this is all related to geometry and their related position and every aspect. So, what is required in our life first is the geometry, and second is that this bigger or smaller, biggest or smallest, taller or tallest, like that. These are the things which is comparing to each other. So, we require to learn these two things. Many people think that counting is our first requirement. So, it is, if you think from different perspective, it will appear that from counting we require comparing first in our daily life. If you think that what for we learn mathematics. So, you can see I have listed something here, comparing, pattern identification, counting, measuring and exchanging. This if I hierarchically if I list, then this comparing is the first job that is required for mathematics, comparing. So, we can compare many things, and that is the first requirement. Then pattern identification, this is another thing, this is without that we can not move, and then comes counting and then all other requirements, say use of all those three activities that is involved in all other activities. So, this is the, for me I have seen earlier I used to think that counting used to be our first requirement of mathematics in life, but it is not like that. So, here we can say evolution of mathematics. If we talk about that, mathematics has evolved based on the requirement of general requirements generated from human needs. It should help to meet our needs or requirements in life. So, 5 basic needs of mathematics: counting, comparing, measuring, exchanging, pattern identification. These are the activities for that we use mathematics, and how you use that we can read in future classes. So, first thing we should identify that these 5 activities we require for learning mathematics. So, then we can, once we know that these 5 basic requirements, then so many things we can do, and you can see this is the thing, even tiling, grouping, arranging, predicting, characterizing, identifying, changing, singing, all these things are required, coloring, painting, everywhere we require mathematics. And so, when we talk about evolution of mathematics, these things comes, this in natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, these are the requirements, and all these numbers primarily evolved for the requirement of comparison. So, if we do not require compare, then so many number system may not have required for us. So, these natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, imaginary numbers. So, primary objective was to compare. So, counting is one of the requirement, then comparing, and that when we face problem in comparing, then we require many other sort of number system, and this number system has evolved for that. And once this number system has evolved, with that operation of those numbers, means addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and exponentiation, all these activities are required, or you can say these are the binary operations, and based on that, where we use these numbers and operations, that subjects, that arithmetic, geometry, algebra, linear algebra, trigonometry, calculus, statistics, and many more has evolved, and day by day it is evolving as per our requirement. As the science and technology is advancing, we are requiring many newer thoughts of numbers. One of them is quaternion, and there are octonion, or many other things. So, if we see this, what are the number system in CBSE? So, natural numbers that is being taught in 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the natural numbers. So, in this natural number, suppose up to class 4, here I want especially mention that up to class 4 there is natural numbers and whole numbers, 0 is introduced, but up to 4 all are no negative number is being discussed up to this. But we try to force this student to subtract 3 from 1. So, we get minus 2 in class 1 or class 2 or class 3. So, this is not desirable. Then integers introduce 6 and 7, decimal and ratio 6, whole number 6, rational number 7 and 8. You can see that rational number we learn 6 and 7. So, you can say it is then our age is around 7, means 12 years and above. Irrational numbers is being taught in 9. So, at the age of 14, real numbers are taught in 10. So, 10 plus 5, 5 I am counting because that is the entry level age for us. So, 15 years, complex number in 11, then matrix, determinant, vectors, these are also you can say one sort of group of numbers. And then the branches different branches of mathematics. So, geometry, mensuration in class 1, arithmetic in class 1, statistic, data handling class 1, pattern is 1, and these are the other topics. Algebra introduced in class 6, coordinate geometry 8, probability 7, trigonometry 10, complex algebra 11, calculus 11, linear algebra 12, vector algebra 12 and linear programming 12. So, these are the broad clarification where the new branches of mathematics is being introduced. So, I feel that there is a issue with class 6. Class 6 all things are concept based, and then 8 is to some extent problem, but both can be managed. But main problem starts with 9, where in 9 almost everything is geometry, maximum chapter is on geometry, and which starts at class 1. And then trigonometry. Trigonometry, this is I feel one of the problem where student face maximum problem. This trigonometry is not that difficult, but the concept of trigonometry, the way we are being taught is that makes trigonometry understanding difficult, and one phobia appears that so many identities are there in trigonometry. So, whether we can remember those much identity or not, that is one of the problems. Then complex algebra in 11, calculus also class 11. So, this is again one major shift in the concept. There is a new concept starts, and 11, 12 3 new concepts, linear programming, vector algebra and linear algebra. Calculus also continue in 12. So, what is that in class 12 is the most crucial year of the students, because they have to appear for their board exam, at the same time they have to appear for their competitive exam for getting entry to the colleges. And in those activities they have to learn this new concept. So, my thought is that if we can distribute this calculus, linear algebra, vector algebra, linear programming, all these things in class 9, 10, 11, then that will be that can give the student prepare for the competitive exam and board exam better. So, these are my observations, and the different branches I have listed here. What are the branches of mathematics we are being taught, and broadly there are 28, 29, and then evolution of mathematics. Evolution of mathematics, we can say this sign. If we think that the signs are very plus and minus sign, this around 1489, then multiplication sign 1631, dot 1698. So, all these symbols are not very old. This is around 500 years ago all these symbols appeared. Before that, what people used to do, they used to write all these things in verses and sutras. Indian literature, Indian mathematicians, they have very rich collection of sutras. They have created so many ideas of mathematics, and beautifully they placed it in many verses or poem like thinking, and the clues also inbuilt in those sutras of many ideas. So, this is true for other civilization also. So, here one another aspect I have seen, that why we face problem in mathematics, and still when we face problem in learning mathematics, we do not face any issues when we go for our professional life. So, why? I think this is a pertinent point we should discuss on that, that what is appear when we talk about the problem in understanding mathematical concept, but in real life nobody face problem because of he do not know mathematics. So, how is it possible? So, for to answer this, if we think the mathematics in multidimensional angle, then you can find it answer very easily. And what is that answer? For me, I feel that whatever mathematics we required in our daily life, 70% or 80%, 60 to 70% of that daily life mathematics are one dimensional mathematics. And what is the one dimensional mathematics? So, that one dimensional mathematics is the mathematics of number lines. What is that number line? Number line is a line where all the numbers are being placed, and any two number, any operation you do on any two numbers, this also will be on number line. So, I want to explain this point because this is a very vital point, and I think we will take a break on now for 5-10 minutes, and after coming back I will explain this 3-dimensional number system and how it makes our life easy and effective if you know it or not. So, when you know it that this is the difference between the one dimensional line, two dimensional line, three dimensional numbers, or not line, numbers, one dimensional number, two dimensional number, three dimensional number, you can easily learn this mathematics. So, this is my observation now, and after break I will come back and again explain what is the one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional numbers, and thank you for now. welcome back to our second session of 4th day interactive session, TV show on mathematical concepts. So, this I was before break I was talking about the one dimensional numbers, two dimensional numbers and three dimensional numbers and n dimensional numbers. And I think many of you are listening this one dimensional number, two dimensional number, three dimensional number first time. So, let me explain it, and you can see this slide. Actually, this slide, one thing I have seen that one dimensional mathematics, around 70% of daily requirement of mathematics in life is covered by this, and so nobody repent for not knowing mathematics in their professional career. So, these are the observation, and what is that, why it is so important for us to know, and once we know this, then we can learn mathematics holistically. Holistically, what it means we will learn mathematics for our solving real life problem, and all the concept we learn we can relate with our daily life activities. So, with that I will explain a little bit more on what I mean by one dimensional numbers, or one dimensional mathematics. This is you all know that number line. So, what is that number line? Number line starts somewhere and it goes from minus infinity to plus infinity, and there is a point in between, sorry. So, there is a point in between which is the reference point, what we call it as 0. So, any number in an equal interval, these are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in between there are 4.5, 4.25 like that, all decimal numbers, but all numbers fall in this positive numbers, all positive numbers, and all negative numbers, if you think of all negative numbers, so this is minus n and this is plus n. So, positive number, negative number. So, it can be fraction, it can be decimal, and it can be anything. So, what I was talking about one dimensional, two dimensional number is that when we take a case of one dimensional number, then suppose we have 2 and we have 4, and when we multiply 2 and 4, so we get 8. So, it will be somewhere here, we will get a point. So, 2 and 4 they will reach to 8. So, if I subtract 8 minus 2, so it will come back to 6 here. So, like that, whatever operation, this operation 4 types or 5 type operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and power, exponentiation, all these numbers this whatever operation we do, these are the operation we should say. Operations on numbers. So, whatever operations of numbers we do, this will all fall in the number line. So, it is not escape, this is number line. But we live in a world which does not move only in lines, we have to move. Suppose we have to create a triangle. So, it is triangle. So, these points will not help. So, we require a triangle something, this is in 2 dimensional plane, and we require some mechanism where we require some ideas where we can express this type of 2 dimensional object, and for that we require some mathematics or numbers. And what are those numbers? This is also numbers in pairs. So, suppose this is 3 2, this is 5 5 1, this is 2, something like that. So, this is in this numbers is in pairs. So, this is required because I have to here I was expressing these points with a single number, and we are managing our daily life calculations. But now what we require two, minimum 2 numbers to express my points. So, these are also points, and these are also points, and these are also points. So, here this point requires 2 numbers, here this point requires only 1 number. So, that is the difference, but if you think of this geometrical perspective, so this will not appear as a single number, it also having another number associated with it, and that number is 0. All these numbers having 1 0, 2 0, 3 0, 4 0, 5 0, as it is all the numbers having 0, default 0 in number line. So, we do not require to mention that 0. So, we omit and we think that it is all single number. Actually not, if you think it is a single number, we cannot place it a particular point, you cannot do that. So, these are all couple of points. So, this is 1 0, then 2 0, like that. This is also having 2 numbers. So, when this related to somewhere here, so this connected to this. So, this is suppose minus some number, it is not coming exactly coming, actually I am just explaining that how it is, suppose 7 and 2, because it is this side of 0. So, it should be negative, but you think of that it is positive and something. So, though this point, then this point is also not having a single number, it is also 2 numbers. So, actual in life 2 numbers, and then this is the realization of 2 dimensional numbers, 2 dimensional numbers or 2 dimensional mathematics. And if you think of that, we live in a 3 dimensional world. So, in 3 dimensional world what will happen? You have another number. So, that is x, y, z. Suppose last day I was talking about when creating a tetrahedron by folding a paper. So, we take a equilateral triangle, then take a midpoint like that, and then fold it, and we get a tetrahedron. And by folding this means we take another number which is z, and that is the thing. So, actually we live in minimum 3 dimensional, and this when we try to explain these 3 dimensional numbers, then we think one axis which is away from this plane and which is behind those plane. So, it can be thought of like that, and if you think in perspective view, so any number. So, any number can be expressed with 3 elements now. So, 3 2 2 like that. Now, we require 3 elements, and this number also become 1 0 0, 2 0 0, 3 0 0. So, this number will become this like that. So, these are the things. So, there is nothing called one number, single number. If geometrically you see these numbers, then always, whether it is in number line, whether it is a plane or whether it is a space, this is having 3 elements. But many operations when we do only for number line, so all these other two elements are 0. So, we omit, we can omit and work on that one dimensional mathematics, we can solve this problem. But this is also a part of this 3 dimensional problem. So, many times students face problem in learning that one, and when this coordinate geometry is being introduced in class 9 or 10, many students face problem in that. But if you think from the point perspective, say every point it is a minimum 3 elements, a point represented with minimum 3 elements, but when we work with only one line, then other 2 elements we can omit and we can work on that. So, this is the thing, this is the object is 2 dimensional mathematics. Any geometrical object you have to create, you require a number which is a couple of numbers, and we can work on that. And later, as I mentioned, this is the 3 dimensional mathematics. Any life in a number in a space we required, then we require this 3 dimensional mathematics. So, with this we can go ahead, and now the technology, what I mentioned so earlier, it was very difficult for a student to go from 1 dimensional to 3 dimensional, but now we are living in a technological age. Students now live in a technological age. You have seen that you cannot deny mobile, laptop or any other gadget to them. Whatever restriction you do, many schools do not permit mobile, laptop yet in their schools, but like that we cannot manage the show. We have to allow it and we have to take advantage out of it. And third point, I have seen they will see videos, they will play video games, or and it can be addictive. But still we have to divert their attention to more productive use of technology. So, we should not stop that use of technology. This is another request to the leaders of the society, policy makers and their teachers, school authorities, that we cannot live without technology nowadays. We cannot teach mathematics also. Mathematics also we require some technology to use and learn mathematics. And some of the easily available technologies are there: MS Excel, Paint, MSW Logo, Microsoft Mathematics, GeoGebra. Many of them are free and very easy to learn and work on that. So, these are the other aspects. So, our perspective should change, our perception about mathematics should change, and we should use that technology for solving our problem. And for solving our problem, again we will not solve the problem. We have that technology with us to solve our problem, but we should know what to solve and how to solve. We should have to instruct that computer or laptop or mobile that you do like that, and he will do for me, because manually we cannot learn mathematics in not in a depth. In depth learning of mathematics cannot possible manually. So, what I mean to say that if I have to climb Mount Everest, I cannot go simply as I walk from this village to that village. I have to get preparation, I have to get there many technologies, many preparation for that, and then I can try to climb Mount Everest. And learning mathematics also there. without technology it is very difficult to reach a greater height. So, with that my research finding is that all dynamism around the world can be captured through 6 types of movement. So, another thing, now I told you that this is the 3D numbers, 3D numbers. So, let us say so 3D numbers means it should have x, y, z. So, only when we work x and if we ignore that y, z, then we will move in a line, number line. Is not it? And if we require to move in x and y, then we can ignore z. So, x and y, 2 elements we can do, and if we want to work on this 3 dimensional object, then we require both x, y, z. So, this is the first thing. So, in this way we get the numbers how it can be arranged, but at the same time you can think that this x, y, z is not stationary. Even I cite that same example again. Suppose we have a equilateral triangle and we want to create a tetrahedron. What minimum activity what we can do to create tetrahedron? We can find the midpoints of this and join these midpoints, and then fold this three different portion, one from this line, one from this line, one from this line. So, then fold it, then it will become a tetrahedron. Tetrahedron is having 3D 3 dimensional object. So, it should have x, y, z. So, we have to have the tools for accommodating this 3D object in 2D plane x, y, z. Okay. So, how we can do? We tell it fold. So, what is the fold? Means there are some movements. So, this type of movement, we our mathematician are responsible to do this type of activities or capture the dynamism around us. We have to make a vehicle which moves, we have to make a robot which translate, means walk, like that. If I have to do his arm should move like that, rotate. So, something we should make it bigger, sometimes we require something to make it smaller. So, all these things can be done with this 6 type of activities, what is called scaling, shearing, so movement, so all the movements around us we have to capture. This is the requirement for total real life mathematics. But we do not have any tool now in our mathematics. There is a tool, but we learn it in different way. Though I am focusing on those tools, and those tools if you learn, then you can capture all these movements and take advantage out of that. You can create any model, anything. So, what is these movements? The movements we can list like that: scaling, So, you see whatever the movements are there around us in this world, we can capture with this three type of transformation matrix or transformation. If we apply it to any object, we can transform that object. So, this tool actually I want to teach first. So, when we can learn these tools, then you can model any object and we will learn our mathematics from this perspective. And another major finding is that all the movements around the world can be captured with these 6 transformations, and all the 6 transformation can be done with a 4 by 4 matrix. So, this is called another beauty. All this can be done with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. So, this 4 by 4 matrix you can transform any object, you can transfer any object. So, whatever you want you can transform. So, our main what are the objects in our 3D world? 3D world always having 3 elements x, y and z. So, suppose your object is having x, y, z, you can transform this object. There can be hundreds of points in those object. When you create so many any object in 3D, it can have thousands of points, it does not matter, but that thousand of points can be transformed by this 4 by 4 matrix, and this matrix can help you in achieving scaling, shearing, reflection, rotation, translation and projection. And as this is a 4 by 4 matrix, we require some number here, it is 3 column and 4 rows here. So, in matrix multiplication this is not permitted. So, we have to do something for that. So, whatever we have learned that Cartesian coordinate system, that will not help in multiplying this. So, what we have to do? We have to add some H. H actually another element. So, now there are 4 columns and there are 4 by 4 matrices. So, now we can multiply. So, when we multiply we will get some result. Here multiplication sign I am putting here, and then here we will get here again x star, some changed y x, y star, z star and h star. So, these are the things actually we will get, and we can transform anything in our courses. Whatever we do in our real life, we create a model of the real life problem, and then we apply this transformation as required, and we get the animation for that. So, this is the nutshell what we teach in mathematics. This is actually some example of transformation. You can see this first one is that scaling up. There was a triangle, a smaller triangle, and it has been scaled up, and right side there is a scaling down, means a blue colored triangle was there, we have shortened it. So, this all can be done with this 4 by 4 matrix I have shown you, and this is a reflection about x axis, reflection about y axis. Here shearing, right side it is showing rotation, how triangle can be rotated. Then then translation, a blue triangle has been translated right side, and right side it is projection. Projection, what happened, it is very not clear that much, but it is a projection we can explain when we do that in real life problem, you will understand that. Now, coming to the 3 dimensional world, as I mentioned. So, first thing whatever I have done is that we have to scale down. So, I have, suppose I have a I have a 3D object. This is a cube. When we think about a cube, we will draw like that, but actually if we see this real sense, it is not a cube, because it is in 2D. In 2D it cannot be accommodate a 3D object, it is a 2D object, but we have given some depth perception, it appears as a 3D object. So, that is the beauty, and we teach that. That cannot be done without this one new system, which is called homogeneous coordinate system. So, what is required? We have to move from, we use now Cartesian coordinate system. And to we have to move from Cartesian coordinate system to homogeneous coordinate system. Homogeneous coordinate system is not being taught in even college level also, and so many people are not interested to learn or use it, but I have seen the benefit of learning this real sense. Your perspective about the world, or your perspective about the mathematics can be changed. When I learned this, I was not that much comfortable with mathematics. I managed my professional career nicely. There was no problem in faced in professional career, but but I have when I learned this homogeneous coordinate and I started applying this 3D object, how to project is in 2D plane, and then real sense mathematics I started learning that day, and now we can convert any of the mathematics required, whether it is in 2D, 3D or for the same sake ND. And many people having problem in understanding ND. What is the ND means, n dimensional space. So, that also I will be explaining in my year end, and as I promised that at the end of the 1 year I will be taught all the mathematics from 1 to 12, at the same time we will cover much of the studies which are being taught in graduate, postgraduate, undergraduate level. So, and when you geometrically do all those things, it will be all simple, it will not be that much problematic. So, that is also benefit means a good point to start. So, these are the things. Here I have seen this low range attractor. I have created this low range attractor. This low range attractor is a forecasting technique for weather, and it requires a minimum 3 solving 3 differential equations, and when we solve we will get some result of that, and all these results are 3 dimensional object, and many beautiful characteristics are hidden in this 3D object, and this can be done also in MS Excel without any programming, without any software. So, these are the things. Then I have shown that a cube, how we can create an cube sort of thing in Excel, and these are the things. This you can do very easily in Microsoft Excel. These are the benefits what you can achieve, and then these are the things which I called you that it is the mathematics of nature. Mathematics is nature is how it is different from the mathematics we learn in school and college level, is that in nature nothing is very smooth, everything is surface is you will not get continuity, what I should say in Isaac Newton's term, that we require continuity to be differentiability. So, differentiation you can do only in a smooth object or continued object, and in nature nothing exists in or nothing is smooth or regular. And another phenomena of this nature is that it is not created in any machines, it is randomly created, and randomly created. In spite of that, they have definite shape. The fire, whenever a fire we see, we tell it is a fire, but we never question that this fire is either burning from a paper or oil or candle or anywhere. Everybody identifies it a fire. So, how regular shape it gets without any mathematics. So, definitely there are some mathematics involved which is formed randomly, even though they are having a regular shape. You can predict that shape, and that is the study going on in worldwide nowadays, one of the hot aspect of that. And in that way there are many surprising facts also open up when you start talking or thinking on that. One of the surprising fact is that Newton used to believe that this world is ruled by some laws. So, he had a lot of derived many laws, because he believed on that everything is happening based on some laws. So, laws of motion, laws of gravitational and what not, whatever field he has achieved, then he has framed and very successfully he has done. So, in that way he was a great mathematician and great scientist in on this. We are lucky to have like a great mind in our earth. But this low range attractor, this shows another story. Well, everything is not that regular, and that everything cannot be predicted so accurately, or everything is not being governed by some laws. And what is that? When he has worked on this Lorentz attractor, no, here it decimal change in 8th place, 10th place, the entire result of that calculation differs, changes. So, it is very difficult, what I mean to say, a micro level change in any parameter can change entire behavior. So, these are the things, and mathematician and those scientists are working on those things, whether it can be solved or not, everything can be predictable or not, and which is can be predictable. As we know that we can very easy calculation, we can calculate that when Halley's comet will come to earth after 76 years. So, like that, so accurately they can predict, but can everything be predicted like that? That is one question. So, like that many interesting things appear. So, first thing is you come out of this learning mathematics, relating it to the life, then only you can enjoy the beauty of mathematics, you will be benefited, you will not, then you will this is the natural thing, it should happen like that and it should not happen like that. So, you can be a commander in that, you can be a part of that mathematician community. What we many times we feel that we do not know mathematics. Many people, whenever I go and move, and many people I meet in bus, trains, and I travel lot and discuss whenever, and many people tell, sir, I do not know mathematics. Then I tell them that yeah, I know that you know mathematics, but you do not know that you know mathematics. So, this is true for everyone. Everyone we know mathematics, but we do not know that we know mathematics. So, this is the randomness of nature. It all these trees has been created with a random number, has been generated by computer without any set guidelines. But when those points are plotted, we got this tree like shape, this fan like shape, and many other shapes we can get. So, these are the beauties, and once you start enjoying these beauties, then math will be very easy subject. So, next learning mathematics with a logo. Logo is a software created, programming software, a lot of thinking are there. When I tried to learn first logo, no, then I thought that it is a child play, it is not for a serious mathematicians. But if you start learning this logo, then this you can learn the algorithm, logic and mathematics and everything. And once you learn this, we will do all those things in Excel, then you can be the greatest mathematician, you can do anything in mathematics. So, these are the commands, forward, back, right, left, and all this command. If you give the turtle, it is called turtle graphics. This turtle moves and this drawings happen. So, as per your command, these are the, you can create a square, then so many repeat this square line 4 times to create a square, then you move this square for certain angles, repeat 80 times, you can get this square floor sort of thing, and lot of things you can create with that. So, with this I want to stop here, but my suggestion is that I will be available here I will try to available every day 5 to 7, and anyone interested to clear any of their doubt, if anyone want to share anything with us, they are most welcome. They can write to me my mobile number. I can give my mobile number again. My name is Chanchal Das, and my contact number is this is my contact number, and WhatsApp number also you can WhatsApp, or email cdass01 at gmail.com. So, these are my contact number, anyone, and this presentation will be available in my channel, YouTube channel. It will be available in Facebook. You can raise the question, you can comment section, you can comment there. I can get the notification, and I can connect you. You can join me with Zoom link. I have shared with the schools registered with us, that school authorities. We have shared that Zoom link. They can from there you can join the Zoom, and you can interact with me in 5 to 7 anytime, any topics. It is not required that whatever I am teaching you should talk on that only. No, you can talk in any topics and any subject in from class 1 to 12. So, these are the things, and my again suggestion is that this is the thing I want to that you should do: engage. So, engage in mathematical activities. Actually, I am interested on that. I am not interested to teach you anything. I want to that you should engage, and for that engagement I should share some of my experiences with you. One is that magic square. Sudoku. These two and many others, puzzle. This is for numbers. Engage for numbers this, and for geometry tangram, a geometrical puzzle. Solving T puzzle, solving Soma cube 3D. This two is 2D. So, these are the things. For this you have to use that transformation that I have explained earlier. tangram and T puzzle. Soma cube, you have to move this 3D object, and creating tetrahedron, it requires to folding the papers and then creating, and once you get involved on any one of these, you will start loving the mathematics, and you will then start working on lot of things. And I hope that within this 1 week time frame we should learn it, and we will start tomorrow with a magic squares, this magic squares. And I request you, if you have nowadays you are in age of knowledge, knowledge in the sense we are now moving with a knowledge bank. This mobile phone, no, I tell it is not a mobile, I tell you it is a knowledge bank. Everything is there, whatever we require, just tell it or type it. Both can be done. You can tell it, if you can know what is the magic square, you will get millions of entries on magic square. So you try to start yourself, and I will tomorrow I will explain on magic square as much as possible, and day after tomorrow I will be explaining on this, how to create a tetrahedron from a 2D object, 2D triangle. So how folding can be done in 3D, so 2D object can be folded in 3D, all these things will come. That once these two activity you get involved, you do yourself, then other things will become very easy for you to learn any mathematical concept, any, I should say any. Once you learn these two activity properly, you can do any mathematical concept. So with this, today I will be closing this session, and thank you for nice participation, and good night.